Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Shazam, issue number 5. I had to do this cover. This is such a beautiful homage cover, man. Like young Billy Batson in the Shazam costume and reading a Wiz Comics. And it looks like it is, in fact, Wiz Comics issue number 2, which was the first appearance of Shazam, Captain Marvel, in Fawcett Comics back in the day. DC done them dirty back in the day, but that was a long time ago. I don't think any of those people are still alive to this day. If they are, shame on you. But, you can't live with that forever. Wrong is wrong. But nonetheless, yeah, it is very extremely very cool that they did that homage cover. So bless them. In fact, let's get into a little bit more kindness here. Shazam and the Seven Magic Lands writer is Jeff Johns and Marco Santucci. Santucci did 5 pages in here, but nonetheless, they're also really cool pages. In fact, it's the Black Adam stuff. Artists Dale Eaglesham, Scott Collins, and Max Rayner. The colorists, Mike Atiyeh, and the letterer is Rob Lay. Cover done by Eaglesham with Atiyeh, and the variant cover that I just showed you is Jim Lee and Alex Sinclair. And I love, this is my favorite part of the comic book, Shazam was created by Bill Parker and C.C. Beck. Go and check out Shazam Explained in a Minute on Comic Book University for more. Yeah, dude, this is the comic book this week that came out that has absolutely zero downsides. There was not one single part of this comic book that I don't like. You know, a lot of times I like to do that whole thing. Most of the times I like to do a thing. Let's try and find one thing I don't like about this comic book. Okay, well then, bang. Nope, there's no bang here. There's no bang. Just Shazam, kaboom, and crackaboom. Oh, dude. Billy and Mary in the Funlands is... You know, it's funny. I almost feel like the best way to beat Kid Candy would be to, King Candy, whatever, would be to just give him the Shazam power, let him become an adult also, and watch the laws just, fall upon him. But, maybe that's actually what's in store. But regardless, like, he is an ironically tragic character. And I didn't want to say it last issue, because... I was afraid that it was going to spoil some things, what happened in the comic book, but you've either read that comic book or you haven't. And if you haven't, that's on you. I feel like this was heavily inspired by a lot of the whole Michael Jackson debacle that had come about. We don't know for any facts what he did, what he didn't do. I'm going to admit my bias here. I have a hard time blaming Michael Jackson because he was like a personal hero of mine, when I was a kid. This guy was just absolutely freaking amazing, and all the crap that he's had to overcome. But regardless, people coming forward and saying this, that, and the other thing, they've got to be believed. I'm saying it doesn't mean that Jackson was guilty. It just means they've got to be believed so that an actual investigation can be done, so their stories can be investigated. Either way. What do you call it? That's a lot of the way that I look at this Kid Candy situation. Like the evidence is just clear in that regard. The Black Adam part is especially cool, especially when you get to the last 2 pages, that final page reveal. There's actually 2 panels on that final page, and one is just as epic as the other, and it's freaking awesome, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. The Pager and Eugene thing is going to be my favorite thing going on so far. Excuse me, Darla and Freddy, they don't look like they're doing so good either, but for now, we're gonna come back to that later because not a whole lot happened there. Not a whole lot of progression in the story. Just okay, a certain verdict was placed on them. But the Eugene thing, him and Pedro, dude, this is cool. Like I want to sit here and say, he doesn't deserve this because he was definitely cheated and blah, 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 but whatever. I also have to go back to the little bit of an origin story that's revealed in here, which, I think if you just watch the Shazam movie, you can see perfectly, yes, that is absolutely his origin story. But, he was an 8-year-old kid messing with adults and whoever, on video games, with the headset on and whatnot. I've never played games like that. I've never played a game where I've had to hear my competitors screaming at me or saying, F you or whatever. I've never had to deal with that because I'm not a gamer like that. but I have plenty heard the stories, the horror stories. People like, dude, this freaking 12-year-old man, this kid, he was good, but he's an a-hole, man. I want to go over his house and just whoop his ass, man. Just like put him over my knee and just spank him. Yeah. Just admit you got pwned, noob. But you know, with him being that kind of a kid, it's hard to sympathize with him what happened here. But nonetheless, cool, man, cool. This really did feel like a video game situation. I feel like Jeff Johns definitely channeled his kids in this, you know? Final note about this book. I love that Jeff Johns is doing this. I know this is probably one of the busiest guys in comic books right now. You know what I'm saying? Between his individual personal appearances, but most importantly, all the different responsibilities that he's taken upon himself, helping out with the movie, the TV, the entirety of the DC universe. The dude is doing a lot. And I'm just saying, 20 years ago, when we first started hearing about this dude's name, when he came on, like, you know, books like Hawkman, of all things, you know, but Aquaman, when he came on all the different books that he'd done, when you saw his name attached to another project, if you didn't know anything about the character, you still jumped on that book, because Jeff Johns, his name was effing gold, but it was green gold, Green Lantern gold. You know what I'm saying? And it's really good. Like I said, I know this guy is busy as all hell, but it is so good to see his name attached to another book. That, you know, and it's just, do I even need to waste my breath saying that the book is good? This book is Jeff Johns. And I'm so happy to see his name attached to a comic book again. Just saying. All that being said, when's Doomsday Clock coming out? Okay, enough. See, it's funny. I have to say something bad, right? But it's not about this book. Anyway, guys, definitely pick this up, man. If you're waiting for the trade, fine, wait for the trade. You're going to love the trade. I promise you, I guarantee you're going to love this trade. This is such an amazing story. And yeah, good time to be alive. All right, guys, Professor Phil, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.